Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn Geography with Shyamal. Today we are going to discuss about cultural complexes, understanding the mosaic of human culture in space and time. Okay, if you are new in my YouTube classes, don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel, and to get the PPT of this class, just join our Telegram channel Learn Geography with Shyamal, and link in the description. Okay, let's start the class. Okay, in this class we will cover what is culture, traits, complexes and regions, what is cultural trait, basic unit of culture, cultural complex, definition and examples, cultural region, spatial expression of culture, cultural diffusion, spread and interaction, key thinkers, Carl Sawyer and others. Okay, first of all, what is culture? Culture is the total of the knowledge, attitudes and habitual behavior patterns shared and transmitted by members of a society. Okay, culture is learned. That means culture is not inherited biologically. It is learned through socialization, education and experiences. And it is shared. Culture is a collective phenomenon. It binds a group of people sharing common beliefs and practices. And it is transmitted. Culture is passed from one generation to the next through language, art, religion and customs. Okay, now the cultural hierarchy. Cultural region, largest unit, macro scale. Cultural realm, group of related regions. Cultural complex, set of interrelated traits. And cultural trait, smallest, is a basic unit. Okay, think of it like a matrix doll is level next inside the bigger one. Okay, like this cultural trait. After that, cultural complex, then cultural realm, cultural region. Okay, smallest to largest. A cultural complex sits between trait and region. Always remember this hierarchy. Okay, first now cultural trait, the building block. Definition: a cultural trait is the smallest, most fundamental unit of culture. Okay, most fundamental unit. A single element of behavior, belief, custom or object that can be identified. Okay, types of trait. There are some types of cultural trait: material, non-material and socio-facts. Material, for example, tools, weapons, pottery, buildings, clothing, food items, etc. Similarly, non-materials are language, religion, customs, laws, beliefs and social norms. Then socio-facts, family structure, kinship system, social organizations. Okay, these are some types of cultural trait. Now, cultural complex. Cultural complex is a cluster of combination of related cultural traits. Combination of related cultural traits that form a functional whole, and they are typically found together in a geographic area. Okay, key characteristics of cultural complex consist of multiple interrelated traits. Traits are functionally connected, not random, associated with a specific activity or way of life, exist in a recognizable geographic region, and represents coherent cultural identity. A classic example of cultural complex, for example, a cattle complex. Herding cattle across grassland, milk, blood and meat as food, cattle as bright price and wealth, cattle in religion and rituals, nomadic movement pattern. Okay, found among Maasai, Nior, Dinka in East Africa. Cultural complex is also called cultural complex. It is associated with Carl O. Sawyer, according to Berkeley School. Cultural complex is also called as culture complex. Okay, it is also associated with Carl O. Sawyer, according to Berkeley School. Now, real world examples of cultural complexes. Rice farming complex, Southeast and East Asia, wheat paddy cultivation, terrace farming, buffalo ox plugging, seasonal festivals, community labor. Desert nomadism complex, Sahara and Arabian Peninsula, camel herding, tent dwelling, oasis, trade routes, tribal organization, poetry and oral culture. Hunter-gatherer complex, Amazon, Central Africa, bow and arrow use, shifting games, plant knowledge, animistic beliefs, band social structure. Indus-Ganga complex, South Asia, monsoon agriculture, caste system, Sanskrit tradition, cow reverence, joint family system. Okay, these are some real-world examples of cultural complexes. Now, cultural region. Okay, a cultural region is an area that shares a common cultural complex. Okay, shares a common cultural complex. Multiple complexes may overlap to form a cultural realm, the largest cultural unit. Okay, types of cultural regions: formal region, functional region, and vernacular region. Formal region is also known as uniform region. Area where cultural traits are homogeneous. Example: French speaking Quebec, Hindi belt of India are example of formal region. Functional region, also known as nodal region, it is organized around a central node. Example: a temple town as a religious cultural hub. Vernacular region, also known as perceptual region, based on people's perception and identity. Example: the Bible Belt or the south of USA. These are some example of types of cultural regions. Now, cultural diffusion, how complexes spread. Cultural diffusion is the spread of cultural traits, complexes, and patterns from one region to another. Expansion diffusion, contagious, spread like a wave, slum, religion. Hierarchical, spread via cities fast. Stimulus, ideas, adapts, exact from, does not. Relocation diffusion, migrants carry culture to new areas. Example: Indian diaspora spreading yoga, cultural imprint in new homelands. Barrier to diffusion, physical barriers, mountains, oceans. Cultural barriers, religion, language. Political barriers, borders, censorship. Ravenstein's law of migration and Hager's trend of diffusion model are directly connected to cultural diffusion concept. Now, there are some key thinkers: Carlos Sawyer and the Berkeley School. Carlos Sawyer, 1889 to 1975. He was founded the Berkeley School of Cultural Geography. Emphasized the role of culture as an agent of landscape science. Introduced concept of cultural landscape. Culture agent, natural landscape is medium, and cultural landscape is the result. Classified cultural through traits, complexes, hearts, and regions. Focused on material culture, agricultural origins, and cultural ecology. Okay, according to culture, culture is the agent, the natural area is the medium, and the cultural landscape is the result. Other key thinkers: Frederick Ragel, anthropogeography, cultural traits migrate with people. Leo Frobenius coined Carl-Turkis cultural circle theory. Ellsworth Huntington, climate influence on cultural development. E.B. Taylor defined culture as a complex whole. Thornstein, Hagerstein, mathematical model of diffusion. Okay, these are some key thinkers in cultural geography. Now there is a comparison: trait versus complex versus region. Okay, feature, cultural trait, cultural complex, cultural region. Definition: cultural trait, single cultural element. Cultural complex, cluster of related traits. Cultural region, area sharing a complex. Scale: cultural trait, smallest unit. Cultural complex, intermediate unit. Cultural region, largest unit. Example: cultural trait, use of plug. Cultural complex, cattle complex. Cultural region, sub-Saharan Africa. Nature: cultural trait, isolated element. Cultural complex, functionally linked set. Cultural region, geographic expression. Associated with cultural trait, individual behavior. Cultural complex, way of life, livelihood. Cultural region, cultural identity and region. Coined by cultural trait various anthropologists. Cultural complex, Carlos Sawyer, Carl Whistler. Cultural region, regional geographers. This is a comparison matrix between cultural trait, cultural complex, and cultural region. Okay, now there are some UGC NET practice MCQs. Which of the following is the smallest unit of culture? Option A, cultural complex, cultural region, cultural trait, cultural realm. Correct answer is option number C, cultural trait. Question number 2, the concept of cultural landscape was introduced by Huntington, Carlos Sawyer, E.B. Taylor, and Frobenius. Okay, correct answer is option number B, Carlos Sawyer. The cattle complex in East Africa is an example of cultural trait, cultural heart, cultural complex, cultural realm. Correct answer is option number C, cultural complex. Okay, rapid revision. Cultural trait means smallest unit. Cultural complex, cluster of traits. Cultural region, area with shared complex. Carlos Sawyer, Berkeley School, coined cultural landscape. Culture natural landscape is equal to cultural landscape. Cattle complex, Maasai, rice farming complex, Southeast Asia, desert nomadism complex in Sahara are classic examples for the exam perspective. Types of cultural regions: formal, functional, nodal, vernacular, and perceptual. Formal, functional or nodal, vernacular or perceptual. Division types: expansion diffusion, contagious and hierarchical stimulus, and relocation diffusion. Hagerstein innovation diffusion model, waves form a cultural heart. Culture crisis, cultural circle, provided by Leo Frobenius, related concept to cultural complex. Okay, Okay, remember, complex is complicated. A cultural complex is not complicated. A cultural complex is simply a related group of traits. Okay, now you are ready for UGC NET examination. Best of luck for your UGC NET exam. That's all for today. If you have any doubt and query, just let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel, link in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you.